Okay, so let's talk about the time estimate of a project. If let's say that there will be if let's say that there will be another student or some of your friends are coming late for the session and then they are waiting outside, please let me know, because when my display is not at the browser, I will not be automatically admit your friends. Okay, and remind me if I have students waiting outside, because I'm going to silence my phone too in this case. All right. So let's start immediately. What we are going to cover for today is what we call as project time estimate. This is unrelated to the cost estimate. Our scope will be a little bit narrow. If we have to cover the remaining later on, that will be in another topic. I don't want this one to drag very long. Okay, before this you have been learning how to make a network diagram. Again, then the network diagram itself. Okay, you have learned on how to make it based on the two logic to approach the AOA or AON. Most of you, and at the present time, the most popular one will be the AON. Okay, or this is also overlapping with what people call as precedence diagram method. Okay, the PDM. So when people are talking about precedence diagram method, most likely they are talking about AON. Okay, not the AOA one. Right. So I will provide you with two questions that will show you on how to solve the problem with time estimate of a project. So we have two questions here. Okay, we are given two kind of project with two different activities. For the first one, we will solve it with the PDM with the activity on node first. Okay, so I think if I can expand it a bit. Okay, I hope I'm not. Okay. All right. Where will we? Okay, here we go. Okay. So let's focus to. So let's try to focus to the first questions. This is question number 1. Hold on. Okay, we will solve question number 1 with the AON approach, activity on node. So how to solve this problem? We start by putting the activity inside the node. Okay, we will start by sketching simple diagram first. We start by activity A. Activity A has no predecessor, and the successor of A is activity B, C, and D. So I'm going to put B, C, and D over here, right? So we will have B, we will have C, and we will have D. Then after that, activity E has two predecessors, which is activity B and activity C. So E will have two predecessors, E, alright? Sorry, activity E will have two predecessors of B and C, right? And activity F will have three predecessors, okay, which is activity B, C, and D. So because the crossover is unavoidable in this case, no matter how I rearrange it. Okay, so we will leave it like this. Right, and then activity G, right? Activity G right here, okay, has F as its predecessor, and activity H has E and G. E and G. Okay, so I think I will erase this one first. I will rearrange it again. E, F. I think I'm going to put E, F, G. Yeah, I'll put it here, I think. Right, this is G, and H is from, okay, from E and G. So this is the what do you call? This is the network diagram. I'll bring it to our board now. Oh, sorry. Stop. Cut it. Page.
One brother
Yeah.
want to join.
Sorry, say it again. I couldn't hear you.
One brother wants to join.
I think it's automatically admitted, right?
No, yeah, just now here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we will carry on with the session again. Okay. So let me see if I can transfer it properly. Yes, I use those. Okay, this is our network diagram. Okay, and then let's just add to the new page. Okay, so we have it this way. Now, what we would like to do. Okay, what we would like to do is actually for the precedence diagram method. Okay, you can replace all of this. Oh, sorry. Right. Now, what we would like to do, we can replace this one, the small node over here, with the one that can calculate, with the boxes that can calculate the early start, early finish, late start, and late finish. I believe you have learned about this one if you lurking around in what do you call YouTube, and then probably searching it from the internet. It depends on the legend. Sometimes we have 6 boxes. Sometimes we have some other references provide you with most likely 8 boxes like this. Okay, but whichever you want to use, it is up to you, so long as the information can be contained inside the node itself. So we are going to replace the node over here, the simple node over here, okay, with this kind of boxes. For now, I'm going to use the node with 6 boxes inside, and I'm going to give the legend for each of the node. So on the top, I'm going to name it as the activities. I'm going to put the activity over here. At the bottom, I'm going to put the duration, and then over here, I'm going to put the early start. Okay, and then this one is the early finish. Okay, this one is late start, and this one is late finish. So this one will be our legend. Okay, so I'm going to replace it into our network diagram here. Oh, sorry. This is A. I'm going to put B over here. Just bear with me because writing and drawing in tablet is quite troublesome for me. Okay, this is the most instant and the easiest one for you to have the calculation on PDM. Right. this is G, and I will put activity H over here. I'm going to change it into 6 boxes. Right. If you can do the similar thing in parallel, that would be fine as well, but if you would like to just observe, that is okay as well. It's just that I didn't prepare properly, so it might take time. Right, so the activity is written at the top. This is A, this is B, this is C, D, this is E, F, G, and H. The duration of each of them, we need to see the, sorry, I will draw the arrow first before we go. So here, oops, here, sorry if it is not straight enough. E from B and C, right? Then F from B, C, D. Sorry, it's a little bit tricky. B, C, and D. F to G, right, and then G to H. E is also wrong to H. Right, now we need to input the what do you call the duration. Okay, activity A, B, C, 5, 15, 10, 5, 15, 10. Right, so we go to the board again. This one will be 5, B is 15, C is 10, this is repeated, D is 5, E is 15, D, E, F, 5, 15, 10, 5, 15, 10, then 170 and 35. This one will be 170. This one will be 35. Double check. Right. Okay. So how to calculate the early start, late start, early finish, and late finish? To calculate the early start, we start from activity A first. Okay. Activity A has no predecessor, so definitely activity A starts from the first period of the project. So we will put 0 over here. Okay. Now, from the early start, we can calculate the early finish if we know the duration. So the early finish of activity A is actually the addition of the early start and the duration of activity A. So 0 plus 5 equal to 5. Okay, that's the early finish. Now, because activity A, okay, the early finish of activity A is 5, then automatically the early finish of activity B, okay, is also 5. It cannot be earlier than 5. Okay, so this is also 5. Same goes to C and D as well. Okay, so you derive 5 to B, C, and D. Now that makes the early finish of activity B as 20. Because 15 plus 5 is equal to 20. Activity C has early finish of 5 plus 10, which is equal to 15. This one will be equal to 10. And you drag it again. What about activity E? Activity E, there are 2 arrows coming in for activity E. That comes from B and comes from C. Now you do understand that B, okay, the early finish of B is 20, right? And the early finish of C is 15. So you take 20 in this case, because activity E, if B is finished on week 20, on period 20, and activity C is finishing on period 15, this one, activity E, cannot be later from activity B, because B must be finished on 20. So we put 20 over here. So the early start of activity E will be 20, and then 20 plus 15. Regardless, the easiest way to memorize it is to take the highest number between the two predecessor activity. So between B and C, okay, you take the highest number. So between 20 and 15, you take 20. So 20, derive it to the successor activity E over here. So the early finish of activity E will be 35. Okay, what about this one? For F has three predecessors, B, C, and D, 20, 15, and 10. And because the highest number is 20, so we set the early start of F as 20. Hence, the early finish should be 30, because 20 plus 10 is equal to 30. Right? For G, there's only one arrow coming in, which is from F. So I will set this one as 30. Okay, 30 plus 170, we have 200. Okay, now activity H, you have to choose between 35 and 200. So we will set this one as 200. Now 200 plus 35 will be 235. So the early finish of activity H, which is the end of the project, is 235. At the end of the project, the early finish and the late finish will be equal. So the late finish is actually equal to the early finish, which is 235. So we can derive the late finish for activity H from the early finish. The late finish comes from the early finish. So that means that the late start, okay, the late start of activity H over here, this one, okay, will be 235 minus 35, which is equal to 200. So we set this one to 200. Then from 200, okay, it goes back again. This is the previous one, we call it the forward pass. When someone tells you about forward pass, the first thing we do to the right side is the forward pass. Now to set and calculate the late finish and the late start, we call that one the backward pass. Okay, so what we are doing is the backward pass. Now for the forward pass, okay, we'll set the questions later on if you have any other questions, right? Okay, so 200 from here, okay, from the late start, we will then transfer it to the late finish. So it will be right here, 200. 200 minus 170 will be equal to 30. Okay, now from here, from G, we will go backward to F. So this one will be 30 as well. 30 minus 10 will be equal to 20. What about E? E, okay, the late finish of E comes from the late start of H. So this one will be 200. 200 minus 15 will be 185. Okay, now goes to B. Now B, for the backward pass, the data will comes from activity E and activity F. From activity E we have 185, and for activity F we have 20. Now before that, for the forward pass, we take the highest number. For the backward pass, okay, we take the lowest number. So instead of taking 185 over here, we take the 20. Okay, so activity B has the late finish of 20. 20 minus 15, we have 5. For C, C comes from E and F as well. 185 or 20. So we choose 20. 20 minus 10, we have 10. Okay, what about D? For D, 40 comes only from F. Okay, as you can see from the arrow, the backward pass, okay, from one arrow only, which is coming from F. So we will set this one as 20. 20 minus 5 equal to 15. Right. Activity A, okay, has 3 backward arrows from 5, 10, and 15. So we will take the smallest one, which is 5. 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have the calculation of early start, early finish, late start, and late finish. So how to calculate the slack? Okay, how to calculate the total slack? The total slack is actually the differences between the early start and late start, or early finish and late finish. So if you see that the differences between early start of activity A and the late start of activity A, which is 0 and 0, okay, 0, the differences between 0 and 0 is actually 0, or 5 and 5 is actually 0, then the slack for activity A is actually 0. For activity B, as you can see, 5 minus 5 will be equal to 0, or 20 minus 20 is 0 as well. So slack for B is 0. Similarly, for C, then you will have 10 and 5, you have 5. For D, you have 15 and 5, you have 10. Okay, for E, you have 185 minus 21, 6, 5. And for F, you have 0. And for G, you have 0. And for H, you have 0. Okay, now the critical path, okay, is determined by those activities who has slack, okay, equal to 0. So in this case, the critical activities or the critical path is actually A B, and then after B you select F, okay, F, and then F to G and G to H. So this is the critical activity. The critical activities, the critical path. The critical activities are A, B, F, G, and H. The total duration of the project equal to 235 times period. That's how you calculate and how to estimate a project using the activity on node or precedence diagram. Any questions for this? Nope. Okay, then if you don't have any other questions, wait, are you still online? I need to make sure that you are still here. Okay, any questions? No. Then we will go to the next one. The next one is activity on arrow. For activity on arrow, if I use the questions, the first questions, it will be very long answer. Okay, so I'm going to use the activity on arrow for question number 2 over here. So this is our data. Okay, that's our data. So we will do this page. Okay, go to the desktop. So this one. All right. Okay, let's work on the. Let's work on this. Let me erase this one first. Okay, we don't need this one anymore. Right, so we will be working on question number 2 over here. Okay, so for this we will be using activity on arrow. So I have predecessor activity of A over here. The initial node number 1 will be here. This is node number 2. The predecessor of B is A. So as for C, as well. So this one I will divide it into 2. This one will be B. This one will be C. Right? For D is the successor of B, E is the successor of B. D and E. So I will put never mind. D over here, and then E over here. Okay. After that, F comes from C and D, so from this node and this node. Okay, we will swap position D and E, so it will be easier. Let me redraw this. Okay, so this one will be E. This one will be D. Okay, but F will be from C and D, so we will merge C and D all together. So I'm going to do this. Okay, making it into one node, probably over here. Okay. So this is C and this is D. All right, and G comes from okay, hold on, this one will be F. Now G comes from E and F, so G, E and F merge over here. So we'll erase this one more time. We will make this one F. And we will make this one E. Okay, E, F, and this one is G. Okay, so we have the network diagram for this. Now we need to put the duration. A, we have 15, and then B, we have 17. Okay, C, we have 21. D, we have 19. E, we have 22. F, we have 18. And G, we have 15. Okay, so we have the network diagram. Now we would like to calculate the early start, early finish, late start, late finish, and then we calculate as well the slack. Different from the PDM, we could not use the node to do the calculation, so we need to do it outside. So how to calculate this one? First, you have to give numbering for the nodes first. So let's say that I'm going to put this one 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6. Okay, so we have 6 nodes. Now I'm going to transfer this one first into our page. Capture. How am I supposed to do this? Sorry. Page. Show the stop. Capture part of the screen. Oh, he's sleeping. We move it to the top. Okay, what we should do for this is actually calculating the node. First of all, the first calculation you have to do is the calculation of early start, and then the second calculation you have to do is the calculation of the late finish. because within the one set of activity like this, okay, if you have a timeline like this, right, and this is your activity, early start will be at the tip, at the beginning of the activity, and the late finish will be at the end of it. In between, this one could be the late start, and this one will be the late finish. Now, whether this one will be merging or not with the late finish, or whether the late start will be merging with the early start, that one will be depends on the situation. That one depends on the situation. Okay, but this is the structure, right? And in between is the duration. Okay. So let's calculate the early start first. So what you need is actually a tabulated form where you have to calculate the node. You put the node, okay, and then you calculate the early start, right? And then after that, you calculate as well the late finish over here. Since we have 6 nodes, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 over here, okay? Then let me put the separator so you are not going to be confused. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Done. For node number 1, as you can see over here, this is node number 1. Okay, this is node number 1. Okay, for node number 1, what do you want to do is actually, okay, to calculate the duration, right? Since activity A, starting from the beginning of this, so the early start of node number 1, okay, of activity A, the early start of activity A, which is defined by node number 1, it will be 0. Okay, for node number 2, equal the duration of the time needed in node number 1 and the duration of activity A. So practically, it is actually the same as 0 plus 15, because the activity A is 15. To reach node number 2, you have to go through 15 period of time. Okay, so this one is equal to 15. What about activity 3? Activity 3 starts from 2 to 3. Now, since node number 2 is 15, to go to activity 3, you have to add 15 plus the duration, 17. 15 plus 17 will be equal to 32. Okay, and for node number 4, comes from 32 plus, okay, 19. Okay, but sadly, not sadly, okay, eventually, okay, for node number 4, okay, it comes also from node number 2. So the beginning of 4 comes from 3 and for 2. So you have to choose between the two. Remember that for the forward pass, we choose the maximum one. So what you have to do for this one is actually, I'm going to erase this one first. Size. Okay. Let me erase this one first. So the right things for node number 4 is for you to choose, okay, between the maximum value of, okay, 3. What is 3? 3 is 32. Between 32 plus 19, or what do you call? 2, 15. Okay, 15 plus 21. Or actually, this one is equal to 30, 49, 51. Okay, the maximum between 51 and 20, 31, 36. Okay, so definitely node number 4 is actually 51. Okay, now for node number 5, okay, similarly you have to choose as well between the maximum value of 3 is 32 plus 22, okay, or 4 is 51 plus 18. So you have to choose between the maximum value of 32 plus 22, which is 54, or 51 plus 18, which is 69. So definitely for node number 5 is 69. So for node number 6 is actually the time of node number 5. 5 is 69 plus what do you call 15, the duration, activity G. This one will be 1675, sorry, 16, 70, 79, 84. So 6 is 84. Now, because the late finish and the early start of node 6 is equal to the late finish. Okay, so this one will be also 84. Okay, they are sharing the same value. Right, because they are in the same node. This is 84 as well. And then for node number 5 is actually 84 minus 15. This one will be equal to 80, 65, 65, 69. Please correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Just in case. 70, 84. Correct, right? Is this correct? Yeah, it is correct. Okay, so node number 4 is actually 69 minus 69 minus 18, which is equal to 51. And then node number 3, you have to choose. Now, instead of choosing the maximum value, you choose the minimum one. Okay, for node number 3, between what is 5? 5 is 69 minus 22, or okay, from 4 is 51 minus 19. So 69 minus 22 is actually equal to, can you help me calculating this? 69 minus 22. 60 minus 20, 40, 48,
47.
47. Okay, and the other one will be
Minus 32.
32. Okay, so the value is the 32 one. And for node number 2, node number 2 will be, you have to choose again. So node number 2 will be minimum from number 3, which is 32 minus 17, or for node number 4, 51 minus 21. So what is the value for 32 minus 17? 32
15.
minus
15.
15, and the other one is
30.
huh?
30. 30.
Okay, sorry. Okay, and for node number 1, well, definitely it's easy since value for 2 is actually 15. So this one will be 15 minus 15. Okay, which will be equal to 0. Right? Okay, so after that, because we already know the value for this, all you have to do, okay, is to calculate the activity for everything. Right, since the late finish, okay, we already have the node. Now these are all the value for that one. Now we go back to the activity over here. Right. Now, because you already know the calculation for each single node, okay, you can make actually the calculation for early start, early finish, late start, late finish based on the graph. Now I'm going to take this one first. Take this stop. Let me erase these things first. Right, and then I'm going to stick again. Right, taking this one. At the current page. Right, we have this. Last time. I'll do that. Okay, hold on. It will be hard for you. Okay, never mind. Okay, since we already have the data over here, okay, we just need to put the calculation inside. So let's start with the calculation for the early start. Okay, for the calculation of the early start, as you can see from the network diagram, what is the early start for activity A? Early start of activity A is actually represented by node number 1. Okay, now since the early start of activity A is node number 1, which is 0, as you can see here, okay, then keep the okay, so which means that the early start of activity A is equal to 0. So over here you write down as 0. Okay, now for activity B, go back again to the network diagram. As you can see from activity B is represented by node number 2. Okay, and node number 2, early start of node number 2 is equal to 15. So you change the data over here for activity B as 15. For activity C, okay, activity C started by 2. Okay, so 2 equal to 15 as well. This one will be 15. Right? D will be equal to number 3, which is 32. Okay, E will be equal to 32 as well. F will be equal to number 4, which is 51. F will be 51. G will be 69. We also have the data for the light finish. For the light finish, okay, we will see the end of the node. Okay, so we start from we start backward this time. Okay, for the light finish of activity activity G, for example. Okay, activity G is actually on number 6 light finish, so it will be 84. So this one will be 84. Activity F, okay, F will be node number 5, okay, which is 69. Alright, activity what was that? Activity E will be equal to 5, which is 69, and F is also 69. Late finish E F 5 5 69 69. Are they sharing the same E F? Okay, sorry, I already did the F, so this is 69 as well. And then C and D. C will be 51, and then D will be the same, which is 51. D also for 51. C and D will be 51 and 51. So this one will be 51, and this one will be 51, and then B will be 32. A will be number 2. A is number 2, which is 15. A will be 15. Right. Now we already have all this calculation. Okay, so we can tell immediately what is the early finish and late start. So what is the early finish value for this? Can you answer for the early finish value? The early finish
Is that 15?
exactly. So because early start will be associated with the early finish will be associated with the early start, and those two will be associated with the duration. So if your early start is 0, 0 plus 15 will be equal to 15. Okay, and then this one will be equal to 32 because 17 plus 15, okay, will be 32. Correct? Correct or not? What do you think?
Yes.
So the same thing goes for this. I'm not going to count it. 21 plus 15, and then this one will be 19 plus 32. This one is 22 plus 32. This one is 18 plus 51. You count it by yourself, okay? And this one will be 15 plus 69. What about the late finish? Late finish means that actually, okay, late finish of this 15. This one will be 15 minus 15. Okay, this one will be LS will be equal to LF minus the duration. This one is actually ES plus the duration, right? They are different. Okay, so this one will be 32 minus 17. This one will be 51 minus 21. 51 minus 19. 69 minus 22. 69 minus 18. And there you go, 84 minus 15. What about the slack? Slack will be the differences. Slack is either between early start and late start, okay, and then this one will be the difference between early finish and late finish. So you just need to count. Sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, EF, that one will be the duration. This one will be the difference between early start and late start, and this one will be the difference between early finish, okay, and early start. Sorry, I'm really feeling sleepy actually. Right, so this one, early start and early finish. No, late start. Correct. Sorry. So this one will be early finish and late finish. Okay, all you have to do is just count the difference. Right. So for example, the early finish and late finish. The early finish is actually the early start is 0, and then the late start is actually equal to 0 as well. Then the slack will be 0. Okay, what about this one? Between 15, okay, and 32 minus 17 to 17, 15 as well, and the difference is 0, so actually the slack is 0. What about this? This one will be 15, and this one will be 30, as you can see. So the slack will be 30. Okay, ES, LS. ES 15, LS 30. Yes, this one will be 30. Okay, and so on. You do the calculation for this as well. Okay, done. So you have both. You know how to calculate early start, late start, early finish, late finish, and slack, total slack. Any questions? No questions. Done.
For slack, we can use only one, or we need to calculate both.
What do you mean by you can use only one, or you can use both?
Okay, can you go to the slide again?
Okay, let's see the slack. Which one do you want to use?
Yeah, for the calculation, if I only use early start minus late start, we will find the slack. So do we need to calculate also early finish minus late finish?
No. Actually, I just want to show you, okay, for this two, both of them should be the same. You don't have to put the formula like early start, late start, early finish, late finish like this. Just choose any of them, okay? If your calculation is correct, both of them will result in the same, because both of them will result in the total slack anyway, okay? So either you focus to this or this, that should be fine. So long as you didn't make any mistake, the result should be the same, okay?
Okay.
Right. Anything else? I hope that one will be clear enough. Okay. Right. Good. If you don't have any other questions, probably I will end this session. I don't want to drag you far for the calculation of this for the what do you call project time estimation. Okay. The next one I will show you on how to do the PERT. Okay, project evaluation and review technique. And after that, we will go through the what is the name of it? Resource scheduling. That remaining two should be given to you as well. Okay, usually they will be given in the midterm or final exam. All right. If you don't have any other questions, you may leave the session. I will try to wrap up all the recordings, and then I will share it with your friend as well. Okay. Thank you very much for attending. I'll see you next time.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure.